Good evening, everyone. Jackie is off tonight. The Buffalo Board of Education is closing a chapter in the saga of the school crisis. Just minutes ago, the board voted to show Dr. Pamela Brown the door and appoint this man, William Karetzis, to lead the district. Our team coverage begins with News 4's George Rickert, who's live at Buffalo City Hall right now.
That's
George?
right. A lot of changes here today, and the new temporary superintendent has already recommended some changes. We'll get to that in a minute. Now, this all happened at a 4 o'clock special board meeting where they went into executive session for an hour and came out with all this. Now, the school board attorney, Dr. Carl Christoph, helped negotiate this deal that will give Dr. Pamela Brown about $230,000, which is about what she would have made had she filled out her contract through next July. In addition to that, she gets a letter of recommendation from this board. That's something that caused 2 board members to vote against it. They didn't even want to give that letter. Carl Palladino and Jim McCarthy voted no. Associate Superintendent Will Karetzis takes over now as temporary superintendent, only for what may be a few weeks, in his words. But even though he may be very temporary, he took the opportunity to thank Dr. Pamela Brown for her work, but also had this message directly to Buffalo school parents.
To parents, nothing is more important in your lives than your children. You are your child's first teacher and play the most important role in their lives. Your children will become largely what you inspire them to become. No school or district can be a substitute for that role, nor should they be. But this is your school district. We work directly for you. And as a result, you should be profoundly involved in how schools are educating your children.
Now, Will Karetzis, as soon as he was done saying that, he immediately made some recommendations to the board. And the recommendations are that they rescind the closure of MLK school. That was a big thorn in the side of the parents having to move out of MLK because of restructuring. He suggests rescinding that for 1 more year, a 1-year delay on the MLK closure, as well as some of the proposed changes to Middle College and the medical campus. He suggests holding off on those changes because of the disruption it would cause. That is still up to the board, but these are some of the things that this new temporary superintendent is already suggesting. We'll have much more coming up tonight at 10 and 11. For now, live at Buffalo School Board, George Rickert, News 4 at 6.
Dr. Pamela Brown was superintendent for less than 2 years, a very tumultuous time for the Buffalo schools. We continue our team coverage tonight with News 4's Al Vaughters in the newsroom. Al?
Don, outspoken critics of Buffalo schools took aim at Superintendent Brown even before she took office. For more than a year, she held her ground. Then the numbers on the school board turned against her.
Dr. Pamela Brown, Superintendent of Buffalo Public Schools.
July 2012. But even before Dr. Brown took the helm of Buffalo schools, local developer Carl Palladino had gone to court to have the appointment overturned.
And when you cloak things in secrecy and when you deny transparency, you get corruption, you get agendas and games being played.
At that time, Brown was receiving broad support from the school board. But on May 7th last year, that would start to change, as Carl Palladino and James Simpson were elected to the Board of Education, vowing to make changes. With controversy over Common Core standards and plans for getting Buffalo school children out of failing schools swirling out of control, on August 29, 2013, Superintendent Brown caught fire from State Education Commissioner John King and Governor Andrew Cuomo threatening a state takeover. Last October, the school board terminated the contract of the Cross and Joftis consulting firm after blistering criticism about the high cost and questionable results. Then in March, Mary Gwynn, who had been brought in by Cross and Joftis, was rehired as interim deputy superintendent. The handwriting was pretty much on the wall when Larry Quinn and Patty Bowers were elected to the board on May 6th. And 10 days later, Brown announced her intentions to leave.
After much thought, I have determined that it's in the best interest of the children of this district, the community, and myself that I attempt to reach an amicable agreement with the school board for my departure.
During her brief tenure at Buffalo, Dr. Brown claims the city's dropout rate was cut by 7%. Chronic absenteeism is down by 5 points. The graduation rate has gone from less than half to well above 50%, and there's been a jump in high school graduates going on to college. Al Vaughters, News 4 at 6.